Welcome back to the homestead, guys. Well, these flowers that we grow in the garden are more than just pretty, they're medicine, and today we're going to show you how to make a potent homemade tincture. I'm going to start by harvesting a few of these nettles for my tinctures. Nettles is supremely nourishing and mineral-rich tonic. It has abundant calcium, magnesium, niacin, thiamine, vitamin A, C, and K. It is great for anybody who lives a very active lifestyle. Also wonderful for growing children, nursing or expecting mothers. Very, very good for that. It's been traditionally used for many years with pregnant women to help prevent postpartum hemorrhage because of that abundant vitamin K. It's great for menopausal women too because it nourishes the adrenals, helps support strong bones with calcium, and also helps with sleep and mood. So it's wonderful for many people for many different uses. We usually make a few batches of tincture every year to have on hand. And that sting that nettle is super famous for is actually also medicine as well. So people have been using that topically to help ease achy or painful joints. Great food. It's good in omelets, pestos, that sort of thing. I'm going to go ahead, harvest a little bit of this, and then we're going to go in the house, make some tinctures. I'm also going to harvest some of this chamomile too. I am not going to tincture it, but I am going to make an infused honey. Chamomile flowers themselves are great. We keep them on hand all the time. They're a wonderful fever reducer, so they cool the body, and they're also just very soothing as far as internal or external use. So this honey we use to go to sleep with. It's a good sleep honey. It settles your stomach, but it's also great topically for burns or wounds or that sort of thing. Conjunctivitis, love chamomile honey, but I will use the fresh flowers in a honey and heat it very slightly, and then I will dry these out for teas for the year. So I'm going to take a few different herbs in here. I'm going to start with my beautiful sage back there. And I like to make a few different things with sage. We'll do a tincture, we'll do a syrup, and we'll also do an infused honey. So sage is really great for the mouth and the throat. For sore throats, it's wonderful. A teaspoon of that honey or a little bit of syrup really goes a long way. And we're also going to use this as a stomach upset aid. It's carminative. It's great for soothing and sedating very gently. I'm also going to grab some of this mint too. I really like mint as a stomach soother. It's also great for headaches, tension headaches especially. And we use it often to also help reduce fevers, just like with chamomile. It's just beautiful. We'll dry some for teas, we'll tincture some, and we'll also make an infused honey out of these as well. Last but not least, I'm going to do oregano and thyme. I really like thyme as an infused honey along with sage. It's great for coughs or sore throats that are really persistent. We like to do oregano tinctures too. It's great for immune support. It's also helpful for digestion. So if you are not familiar with tinctures, they are essentially extracts extracted with alcohol. I like to use vodka because the flavor of the herb or the preparation comes through very well. A lot of people also use things like brandy, and then the proof of the alcohol you use will differ on the herbs that you are using to infuse. So say you have something that's really juicy like lemon balm, a higher proof alcohol works better for that, but your general rule is going to be an 80 proof spirit to use in your tinctures. And the really neat thing about tinctures is that they are shelf stable. You don't need to refrigerate them, and they are good for years and years and years. They're also very easy to dose by the dropper, and you take them sublingually, which means under the tongue. You can, however, put them in like a hot tea or a juice or a water and take them that way too. But I'm gonna go ahead and start chopping up. I think I'm gonna start with my mint and put it in my mason jar, and all you're gonna do for a tincture is cover that with alcohol and cap it. That is the old folk method. You're gonna let these sit for 6 to 8 weeks in a cool, dark place. So I'm using fresh peppermint here. I'm gonna fill my jar about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way full, and then top it with my vodka and then cap it. And that is the first tincture I'm gonna do. Or one of the things that I like to really use peppermint tincture for is when you get a headache all of a sudden. It's great for just relieving that headache. It's good for digestive upsets too. So a couple drops of this and maybe a cup of peppermint tea, some peppermint tincture on top is really good for your digestion system. It's also really nice for a fever reducer. So if we're really running a fever, or if we need to cool down, I will take this tincture and I'll put it in a cool glass of water or a really cold tea, like an iced tea. It's great that way too to help ease that heat. And I'm just gonna rip this up and throw it in here. All right, that is done. So I'm gonna let this sit 6 to 8 weeks in a cool, dark place. Shake it every now and again. Sometimes you're gonna need to add a little more alcohol in there to keep everything submerged, and then it will be ready to strain out. And I'll show you how I strain out tinctures. I have a lemon balm tincture here back from January that we made that needs to be strained out. But I'm gonna go ahead, label this, store it in the cabinet. All right, next I'm gonna do the same thing with my oregano. I'm gonna take a 1/2 pint jar here, fill it up about 3/4 of the way full with this beautiful fresh herb, and then cover it with vodka. And we will reach for this when our immune system needs a bit of a boost. It's also good for digestion, more than a culinary herb for sure. All right, my oregano is done. Next, I'm gonna get started on my thyme tincture, my sage tincture, my nettle tincture, and then I'm gonna get started on my infused honeys. These will be great to stock up the apothecary with as you go into winter. I think I might save a bit of this nettle to have with dinner tonight. Sometimes it's good just sauteed in olive oil with garlic. Sometimes a compound butter with nettle and some roasted garlic is really good. It's great in omelets and soups, like a creamy potato and leek and nettle soup. Really, really good. It's also used as a hair wash often, nettle. But if you are dealing with allergies, nettle's great. It's also just a good, rich tonic to take that we take pretty often. You want to kind of get to nettle before it flowers. So tender young leaves. I know some people can have allergic reactions to the flower, and it can be hard on the kidneys to ingest once that has gone to flower. Some people are pretty immune to the sting of nettles. I find if you grab it hard, it's not as prickly. We're gonna do sage tinctures next. I love sage infused honey for a really persistent cough or a sore throat. It's really good. It's antiseptic, vulnerary, which means it's wound healing, and astringent, so it's drying and contracts tissues. Five new tinctures to sit on the apothecary shelf. For the honey. So infused honeys are great. It's another great way to take medicine, especially for little ones, for like coughs and whatnot. And then when you use raw honey, that has its own medicinal properties to it as well. When you infuse honey with fresh herbs, you can't just put them in there and then put them on the shelf. Those fresh herbs can create or will create moisture in the honey and ferment it, but not in a good way. So when I do my infused honeys with fresh herbs, I heat it slightly, like very, very slightly in a double boiler, very gently. You don't want to boil the honey at all with those fresh herbs, and then I will strain them out. And usually I'll do this 1 to 2 times, or I will just pop it by the wood stove somewhere kind of warm and ambiently get it warm and infuse it that way. But for this, I'm going to heat a little water, throw my honey in there to just kind of double boil around, and then infuse it that way. If you have dried herbs, like this sleep honey we made back in January as well, it was dried chamomile, dried lemon balm, dry, I think that's it in here. Lavender, we put dried lavender in here too. This can just sit like this. You don't need to strain it out. You can if you want to, but you can throw those dried herbs in your honey, in your nice raw honey, and then let it sit, you know, from 4 to 6 weeks, and then strain it out and have a beautiful honey. We like to just scoop this out, you know, herbs and all, put it in a hot tea, mix it up, and then strain it out, and you have this really delicious, you know, sleep honey that helps you go to bed and kind of relaxes you. And all those herbs are antispasmodic, and they're great for your digestive system too, so it's good for digestive upset. But with this, with our fresh herbs, I'm gonna put my fresh herbs in this honey and then throw them in a double boiler for a few minutes here and then strain them out. I'm gonna do sage, thyme, and then chamomile. For my honey, I am simply gonna just fill this jar on the bottom with a little bit of honey, my herbs, and then honey on top, and flip it around a bit, and then heat it very gently. And this is really fun because you can play around with honeys all sorts of ways. One of our favorite honeys to make when the rose hips comes in is a cinnamon, ginger, rose hip, and vanilla bean honey. It is so good. We used to make it all the time, and we're excited to make it this year too. Dump a little bit of this in each jar.
We're making 2?
We're making 3.
Chamomile.
Good job. We're gonna top it with honey.
Wow, it's beautiful looking.
Isn't it pretty?
Then what do we do?
This is gonna be good for when we have a sore throat.
Or a fever. Beautiful sage.
We're gonna top it with more honey.
Yum, yum, yum.
Now we're gonna tap it like the other one.
Wow, the time this sinks into the honey. Or you be sick.
For when you're sick.
Honey.
We're gonna pop the lid on, and then we're gonna heat this up.
1, 2, 3. 3.
All right, I'm just gonna throw a little bit of water in here. And then I'm gonna rest my honey on top of this so it doesn't sit right on the bottom of the pot here, and just very gently warm it. And as I'm doing that, I'm gonna strain out my older tincture here and show you guys how we do that. All right, so this tincture is about 7 months old. I just strain it out through a cheesecloth and then funnel it into my dropper bottles, and that's it. If you don't have a dropper bottle or don't want to buy them, you could always just put it in a mason jar and just spoon up little teaspoons too. All right, and that is it. That is how you strain out your tincture, and it is ready to use. Tastes really good, actually. I love lemon balm. It's wonderful for all sorts of things. I will do the same with all of these in about 6 to 8 weeks after they have sat in a cool, dark place for that time. I'm gonna keep an eye on my honey here, and then in maybe about an hour or so, I will get to straining that too. All right, this honey has been going for a couple hours now. I'm gonna take these out. We have our thyme, our sage, and our chamomile. Looking really good. I'm gonna go ahead and strain these out and put them in some clean mason jars. I'm gonna do my sage first. Ooh, smells good. All right, there is one sage. And we have chamomile. Looks and smells really good. Alright, chamomile's done. And last but not least, thyme. Alright, honeys are done, tinctures are done, and then in about 6 to 8 weeks, I will strain these out. But that's it. That's how we like to make our tinctures on the homestead, as well as some infused honeys, and the apothecary is on its way to getting stocked up. Hey guys, this is Amy and Dennis from Holdfast, Alaska. We are a small family living in the eastern interior, building a subsistence homestead.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed that video, and we'll see you on the next one.